Neste mês, vamos viajar pelo estado americano da Califórnia.
I think we've been very lucky in the state of California because we have a great climate. We're able to get citrus and fish from the sea and grow lettuces all year long.
Vamos juntar-nos a Alice Waters, uma lenda do mundo da culinária, na sua incansável busca por paladares. À medida que se prepara para homenagear a sua comunidade e a culinária.
It's about buying locally, taking care of the land where your food comes from, celebrating the harvest, like the harvest of garlic, which you're celebrating right now.
Na costa este da Baía de São Francisco encontra-se Berkeley. Neste refúgio da costa oeste, as ruas encontram-se repletas de uma mistura de culturas cheia de vivacidade. Esta cidade universitária é rica em movimentos políticos e culturais radicais e é também o lar da chefe Alice Waters, uma das pioneiras do mundo da culinária.
Well, Berkeley is a rather small town. It really has a big voice out in the world. I think the culture of food is something pretty unique in the state. There was a movement in the 60s really about organic food. And so it thrives in that way.
Conhecida como a criadora do movimento Slow Food, Waters dedicou a sua vida a pôr fim à cultura da comida rápida americana. Contudo, foi na Europa que a sua aventura culinária começou.
So nice to meet you. I went to France when I was 19 and I just had an awakening, really an awakening. I had never seen food like that. I had never tasted it. The United States was a land of frozen food in the 50s to 60s to 70s. Well, when I came back, I wanted to live like the French. It was a beauty of the culture that I had really digested, if you will.
A ambição de Waters ganhou vida com a abertura do Chez Panisse, um bistrô financiado pelos seus amigos e dedicado aos melhores alimentos e hospitalidade local.
We're waiting on the radishes to arrive from the farm.
Oh, we're waiting for them.
So we might be waiting a minute.
I think people saw it as a very unusual place. First of all, it was in a house. I love that idea of inviting people into your home for dinner. We had read many cookbooks, but we weren't practiced cooks, and certainly not at the level of cooking in a restaurant.
45 anos depois, o Chez Panisse continua a ser importantíssimo para a comunidade e para o mundo culinário californiano. As suas saladas simples e as suas pizzas e pratos de massa da época tornam este restaurante conhecido por ter dado aso a uma revolução serena, mas deliciosa.
I mean, it's exciting for me because I believe that eating can be transformational. I want them really to say, they served me something at Chez Panisse I've never tasted before.
Real nice.
Uma das maiores comemorações do Chez Panisse decorre todos os meses de julho, quando o restaurante organiza o seu famoso Festival do Alho. Esta sua homenagem a um dos ingredientes essenciais da culinária francesa começou a ser realizada em 1975 e foi imortalizada pelo realizador Les Blanc, num documentário intitulado Garlic is a Good as Teen Mothers. Como não podia deixar de ser, este banquete anual realiza-se também no dia da tomada da Bastilha, o Dia Nacional de França.
I guess I've always loved garlic and felt it an important ingredient for the cooking at the restaurant. So it made sense to me because it was a day that I loved to celebrate, the French storming of the Bastille in French. The aromas are everywhere, and I think people get into the spirit, and the music is all part of the celebration.
Os preparativos para o Festival do Alho deste ano encontram-se já em curso e Alice dirige-se ao mercado local. A Chef Waters foi uma das primeiras apoiantes do movimento Farm to Table e por entre bancas encontra ingredientes frescos e caras conhecidas.
There's a new fanny book coming out in the fall. Do you like garlic? The farmers market movement is the most important movement that's going on in the United States at this moment. It's been wonderfully supportive for the farmers and terribly important for all of us who want to eat great food but don't have the possibility of having a garden in our backyards.
I think nobody ever buys this much garlic. You know, I think always of how much time it takes to grow something. I mean, this has been in the ground probably for 6 months. And then they're harvested and then they're brought to the market. And all of this garlic for only $15. I mean, for me, it's so inexpensive. And especially when you know the story.
Já a seguir, vamos descobrir a origem dos melhores alimentos da Califórnia.
Oh, is that all of those on one plant?
All of these from one plant. Yep.
Amazing.
A Green String Farm localiza-se 1 hora a norte de Berkeley e possui os seus campos repletos de preciosidades coloridas que os meses quentes de verão trazem consigo. Estes alimentos encontram-se prontos para ser colhidos e irão em breve para a cozinha do Champagnes, um restaurante que se tornou sinónimo do movimento Farm to Table.
The relationship with the chef and with the farmer is a very personal one. It's my great pleasure to talk to the farmers, to feel like I'm part of the future, that I am thinking about our children.
Ao longo das últimas 4 décadas, a chef Alice Waters tem sido uma acérrima defensora dos alimentos produzidos localmente. Atualmente, o Champagnes possui uma rede de mais de 80 fornecedores locais, composta por agricultores e rancheiros que têm em comum a sua paixão por alimentos saborosos e sustentáveis. Bob Canard é um dos membros dessa rede.
It's been 30 years now that we have been working with Bob Canard. We've become so reliant on each other that I couldn't run the restaurant without him.
You know, it's kind of amazing that we can get so much from you.
Well, that's
at
the
one
goal.
farm.
That's the goal. You know, that diversity. That way, it's a domestic garden, Alice. It's not a farm really. It's really a big home garden. A little bit of absolutely everything out there.
Purple basil. This is one of my favorite herbs of all. I'm taking this with care.
Very well.
Thank you.
Canard pratica agricultura natural, uma abordagem única que permite a insetos e ervas prosperarem juntamente com os alimentos cultivados e que mantém o solo e as plantas livres de químicos.
You know, I remember when my father found you and he came up to the farm. He looked out into this field and all he saw were flowers. And he said, well, where are the crops? Where are the crops? And Bob said, come on out here. And he pulled the flowers aside. And then he just
Found the cauliflower.
found the crops down below. And
It was so many years ago. That's how you support nature. You grow 50% of everything They produced in all the biomass that's in the soil in each garden section, each cycle. 50% is for people and 50% is to feed the soil. In and amongst all the weeds are the potatoes. This is a mountain rose potato plant.
That one, Bob, is so fantastic. Oh, is that all of those on one plant?
All of these from one plant. Yep.
Amazing.
Yep, all of these from one plant. And they all started from one potato. 9 from one. And the original one that was planted was about this big.
Alice vem em busca de um ingrediente especial.
Let's go check out the garlic.
Esta variedade de alho conhecida como Spanish Roja encontra-se a secar há 2 semanas e vai ser o elemento central da comemoração da tomada da Bastilha, organizada por Alice no Chepanise.
It's really important. Garlic's grown with very low level of nitrogen. If it has too much nitrogen in it, it gets that pungency flavor that is offensive.
Yeah, well, we're going to pickle it for Bastille Day.
Oh, good.
We're going to roast the whole
Whole
heads.
roasted
We're
heads
gonna-
are
yeah.
beautiful. Your guests down there at the kitchen are the ones that are really blessed. They get to eat all this beautiful stuff and they go home and go to sleep and have vegetable dreams.
A uma curta distância da Green String Farm encontra-se outro importante fornecedor do Chepanise, o Hudson Ranch. Encontra-se entre Sonoma e Napa e estende-se ao longo de 809 hectares de uma das melhores regiões vinícolas dos Estados Unidos.
Oh, how was the drive? Everything good?
You made it. You're here. We
So,
take a little walk.
walk
Let's
out
stretch
there.
those legs.
Lee e Christina Hudson, os proprietários do Hudson Ranch, destinam apenas 80 hectares ao cultivo das suas 20 castas e deixam grande parte dos seus terrenos entregues à natureza.
We think of it as operating at the highest level of intent.
Yeah.
Perfection will never be reached,
Yeah.
but always striving to do better
Always.
and learning from our biology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As Bob says, it really is how you take care of that soil that really influences what is in the grapes and what you can make with grapes.
É a conjugação singular de solos do Hudson Ranch que dá aos vinhos do Novo Mundo, aqui produzidos, características distintas. Dos rosés frescos ao Syrah, com notas picantes, não há uma única garrafa que não apresente a essência do terroir da Califórnia.
I wanted you to try this other wine that you haven't had before. This is the Old Master, and this is a 60% Cab Franc, 40% Merlot. And the thing that I love about this wine is that it comes from the same block, but it's 2 completely different soil types. One side is just a completely different color than the other side, and obviously Cab Franc growing better on one side and the Merlot on another side. But this is just, I think this wine is so beautiful. This is just our second vintage.
And you grow them all organically.
Well, we try to leave the dirt better than we found it, for sure. You know, we collect all of our rainwater here. We are able to use that all year long. It's great to see these old vineyards that are still so full of vigor and just beautiful vines.
We're collaborating and we're trying always to get better at doing what we're doing. I have to make sure that they are in love with their work. And I want to taste the food that they grow. I think that curiosity that we have can be matched with the farmer's curiosity, and that we come together and we're partners in this. We're co-producers, if you will. And that's how I see myself.
Hello, my friends.
Já a seguir, vamos ficar a conhecer melhor uma das tradições do Chepanise. Berkeley encontra-se em pleno verão e chegou finalmente o dia do Chepanise organizar o seu Festival do Alho. Este banquete especial, preparado pela chefe Alice Waters, é não só uma homenagem a um ingrediente fantástico, como também um evento em honra dos artesãos da comunidade. Steve Sullivan é o homem por detrás da revolução ocorrida na indústria panificadora de São Francisco, a The Acton Bread Company. A sua padaria fornece produtos a restaurantes da Baía de São Francisco, entre os quais se incluem o Chez Panisse, o local onde na década de 70 Steve se tornou padeiro.
It wasn't like a restaurant, it was really like a community. This sense of interconnectedness and interdependence between the people who grow the food, the people who harvest the food, the people who make the food. To fit in, the main thing was that you had to be willing to be really devoted and committed to doing whatever you were doing as well as you possibly could.
Os pães que saem desta padaria têm como base farinha biológica. Podem demorar um total de 35 horas a ser preparados e são feitos totalmente à mão.
Every part of the process that can be made better by the involvement of a human being, paying attention to what he or she is touching and handling, we try to make sure that a human being is still doing that. It's not like clay where you can sort of make it and then you say, I want it a little thinner, so you make it a little thinner and you look at it and you get it and then you say, oh, that's perfect, because it's looking the way you want it to be. You know, you have to be able to project ahead to what it's going to look like when it's done.
Para o festival organizado pelo Chez Panisse, Steve está a preparar pain d'épi, que são no fundo baguetes de cariz decorativo que se assemelham ao trigo e que são perfeitas para partir e partilhar à mesa.
Because our connection goes back so long with Chez Panisse and with Alice, we're going to do the best we can for the restaurant because they do the best they can for us, and we have done that, you know, for dozens of years. And that's the community that Alice has tried to forge.
No Chez Panisse estão em curso os preparativos finais para a comemoração do Dia da Tomada da Bastilha, que vai contar com os produtos da padaria de Steve, com alimentos frescos, vindos da Green String Farm e com grandes quantidades de alho, algo que não poderia faltar.
Garlic is really that spice of life, and we use it generously at the restaurant. We know it's kind of a universal taste and passion.
Hello, my friends.
Essa paixão criou ao longo dos anos um pequeno grupo de amigas que são conhecidas como as fiéis descascadoras de alho do Chez Panisse e que são já uma instituição cá no restaurante.
We've been doing this for 40 years.
All these years.
I can't. How are your fingers?
Getting hot.
Hot and sticky.
There's a group of women who live close by the restaurant and have eaten there for a very long time. Every year they come and they peel garlic because it takes a lot of garlic for the cafe and the downstairs, and they just peel for 3, 4, 5 hours. Your hands get a little hot when you're doing it, but you feel like you really are doing an important job, I think. Very therapeutic.
Is this all you've done?
No, that's just the last that's the fourth.
Oh, that's the fourth bowl.
It's kind of a way to build community, to have that kind of friendship with, you know, people who eat at the restaurant, and that they can give you something that you love. It's a great way to further this family of Panisse.
I think we don't need it. I think this is time to take it to the kitchen. Thank you. Thank you.
Our pleasure.
Os dentes de alho acabados de descascar vão ser utilizados em vários pratos repletos de alho que serão servidos no banquete desta noite. Entre esses pratos incluem-se frango no espeto recheado com alho e salmão escalfados.
A garlic broth.
A garlic broth, of course, naturally. Garlic broth, a lot of garlic, white mirepoix, white wine, heavy on the aromatics, bay thyme. Yeah.
Beautiful.
As sobremesas servidas serão croquembouche, um doce clássico francês, e tarte de ameixa, uma das especialidades do Chez Panisse. Hoje, até o sobrepasto vai receber um toque especial.
We have flags.
Oh, absolutely.
Neste festival, o Chepanis comemora o que a culinária francesa tem de melhor. Os melhores ingredientes locais e um espírito de convivência muitas vezes esquecido. Para Alice Waters, este é um evento que recorda o valor e a importância de partilhar refeições.
This is nothing really new since the beginning of civilization, but it's about buying locally, taking care of the land where your food comes from, eating with your family and friends, cooking very simply, celebrating the harvest, like the harvest of garlic, which we're celebrating right now.
Santé. Vive la révolution.
Vive la révolution.
In this country, maybe as many as 85% of families don't have meals together. It's critical for our future that we come back to the table, back to our senses, back to that place. Take our time.
Aceda a cnn.com/journeys para saber mais acerca da experiência culinária de Alice Waters e partilhe as suas aventuras gastronómicas utilizando a hashtag CNN Food.